In 3, 2.
I guess we'll just have to figure that out when we get there.
I think you're nervous excited. Hey-o! What?
You're doing things that other people want to see also, so don't fail them. And we're not. Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Clunkers. I'm Jim.
And I'm Lydia, and we are fixing the South one clunker at a time. Our current clunker is a 1964 Thunder Chicken named Petey.
Now we really love these old cars, but we don't know everything. We think that it's a 1964, but we have a lot of y'all reached out and said, hey, pump the brakes, that is really a 1965. So the more we investigate, the more we're gonna find. Y'all are probably right.
Well, we resurrected Petey from the grave in the last episode, so this episode, we're gonna see what Petey has to offer. Does Petey have a motor? Not sure. Does Petey have all of its tires? Shockingly, yes. Is Petey in the trunk? These are all the questions.
That's debatable. So y'all come along with us today to see exactly what we actually even have to work with. Now, for those of you who follow us on Cajun Country Living, you know exactly what this is. This is the ultimate Hooters. But a Hooters has many, many opportunities to offer solutions for many different problems, which brings us today to suspending Petey up off the ground so we can actually see up underneath it and gain access to him.
Now, the trunk is locked. We're not able to get in there. This car was so buried that we weren't even able to get the doors open, but we dug out one side in the last video, just enough to be able to actually use the steering wheel and try to rotate these tires over. But the other door hasn't been opened, and underneath the hood has not been opened. So y'all, we're gonna take our first looks all together and see what's in here. All right. Come on, Petey, I know you can open it more than that. All right.
Would you look at what a specimen? You know, I know this thing needs a little wash, a little wax, and looks like a couple of parts, but the crazy thing is that this thing has been sitting for at least 40 years now, and we'll explain that, how we figured that out here in just a minute. But it has a lot of interior parts. You would really think that this thing would be stripped down a lot further than it actually is, and a bunch more parts robbed off of it, because this is almost like a concept car, in my opinion. There was so many cool features about it, like the protruding gauges, all the little space age looking things that put this car really ahead of its time. That's in my opinion, of course, but I guess being hid off in the woods where nobody knew where it was at paid off for old Petey in the long run.
I'm just gonna throw it on this side and start figuring out what we have and what we don't have.
What about the little pieces? Are there any little pieces that might get bent up, or?
You know,
All of them?
maybe this.
Well, look at that. Look. All metal. No plastic. Cheap vinyl. That is so cool. So this would have been the trim piece that went on the back seat in the back of the car. Kind of give it that curved around appeal.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't believe it's in there. And look how straight it is. There's not a dent in it. I mean, it's got a little bit of rust, needs a little bit of love, but look at it. It is all there. Got a seat. It's all there. Don't smell good. It might need a little vacuum. Maybe we can just lay it all together and put the puzzle pieces together. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and set it out here and get it out of here. That way, the only thing we pretty much left in here is trash. You know, whenever we was getting Petey out of the woods, one of the first things I was a little bit bummed out about was the emblems. The T-Bird emblems, they're just gone. And they're so cool. I was just a little bit bummed because I was thinking, we'll probably never be able to find those. Look at this Easter egg. How cool is that? It's a Thunder Chicken.
Where at on the car, do you know?
I'm not real sure. We'll just have to find it. These things had emblems all over them. That's another thing that gave them so much style. Looks like what's left of an old power steering pump. All original Ford. An outside rear view mirror.
Air conditioning?
Not quite, but just in case you get a little warm, there you go. That doesn't give me high hopes for the motor. We found a power steering pump and a fan. Here's an old air cleaner. or part of it.
Oh, no, no, no. Y'all, look at that door versus this door. Hey, I found where that emblem goes. Look how clean that door is. I mean, it's not clean by any means, but...
It's all there.
Exactly.
By the looks of it, I bet it wasn't remote start. We found both front seats. They're both in here, and it looks like, I don't know what kind of shape it's in, I can only imagine, but the whole back seat assembly is in here as well.
Oof.
Okay. I guarantee you there's some tatas hiding in there. I mean, it's devastated, don't get me wrong, but you're right, it is all in one piece. Maybe just being in those woods where it was really shaded kept it from dry cracking as bad, but something definitely helped it. This one's all in one piece too. Sun visor, not cracked, not broken. Fan belt, think it's seen its better days too. You know, I'm starting to find a handful of engine parts in here. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be that there's an engine in there that stopped working and they worked on it and just put it away, or it could be that they got rid of the engine and this is what was left. You know, it's not many times you get to untangle fan belts out of roots in the floorboard of the car. Yeah, good luck opening that.
Okay.
You know, old Petey, he didn't go anywhere without fixing his set. You know, had to put a little grease in that head and get it all slicked back at that one curl right in the middle of the forehead, you know? Old Petey was a cat daddy. Anything good in there? Like a gold nugget or something? Or
maybe a flattened out ring. Just kidding.
Beer tab, same thing.
Okay.
Look at that. That's all the power switches. How cool is that though, really? It's all still there. Now, you know, I've heard of laying stuff on your dash going down the road, maybe a sheet of paper or phone charger or something like that, but I think that's pretty ridiculous. From under here, the trunk looks like it's going to be in shape, but these floor panels, I haven't seen a rust hole yet. I mean, I have not seen one. I'm not saying there's not none under here because it's got dirt and stuff, but I do not see a rust hole. I honestly figure whenever I crawled under here that there was going to be just no floor pan hardly left. But even look at this drive tunnel. I mean, it's just not that bad. Whenever we pressure wash it, we might find a couple holes, but there is no big rust holes under here at all. Don't get me wrong, it definitely looks like it's been sitting in the mud for 40 years, but even the frame, like the unibody frame type setup, it's all there. Old Petey was just sitting there waiting for us to come along. Now, I can't say the same for the relief springs because the driver's side is rusted and rotted and completely came apart. And we kind of suspected that because when we was pulling it out, we was finding little bits and pieces of leaf spring. But look what it was sitting in. There's no drive shaft under it, not even a piece of a drive shaft. So you just wonder why originally they parked this car to begin with. Because that's usually always how it starts. Everything's cool until people start having mechanical problems or something wears out, and it's just more cost effective just to park them up and get something else.
So then what is this hanging down? This backside of this trailer.
I'm really not sure. Whenever we was dragging it off to put it on the hood, as this fell out from underneath it, it actually looks like it might be either a skid pan from underneath where the fuel tank goes, where the fuel cell is, or it might be the bottom of the trunk. I guess we'll just have to figure that out when we get there. Now, to let y'all in on a little bit of a spoiler alert, from laying under this car, I do see a transmission. And it looks from here on the front side of that transmission, I see an oil pan. So that means that we have a transmission and some type of motor or a piece of a motor in there. I don't know why I'm so nervous about this part. There's nothing to be nervous about.
I think you're nervous excited.
I just want it to be something really cool under here so bad.
Just tell me whenever I need to pull. I don't want to pull too hard because I feel like we could easily bend this.
If I can get this rolled out of that.
You really can't see anything either.
Nope. Okay, I got the first one open.
Hey-o! What?
Can you hold it up on that side so I don't, I'm afraid if I let it go, it'll latch back. Okay. What if we open this up and the motor's still all in the plastic? Like brand new.
We wouldn't get that lucky. Okay.
Oh, holy crap. Oh, my word.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this one.
I think that it's got the potential of putting a hot battery, maybe change a couple spark plugs, get a can of starting fluid, and this will be a town rig right here. Look at there.
So from the get-go, we really had no idea what we were getting into with this car, and we really didn't have very high expectations.
Honestly, myself, I have never put my hands on one in this bad a condition as far as it being full of stuff. This is going to be a trophy room if we can get this one running. Look, there's another nest back here. Something's playing in there sleeping. Wow. But you know, I'm going to go back to saying the same thing. And of course, we won't know until we get it cleaned out. But look at the sheet metal. The sheet metal is not awful at all. It seems like the stuff that was above the ground was way worse than the stuff that was close to the ground. First major thing that I see is this massive hole in the valve cover. Don't know what happened there, if it was something catastrophic or if it just rusted away over time, but yeah, it is not there. It's got an old Holly 4-barrel on here. It's definitely froze up, but it's on there, so it's a 4-barrel. By the looks of it, it's a big block. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's probably a 390. It's a 390 big block, 4-barrel intake. It did have power brakes. Look, it's still got the whole booster set up on it. It was a factory air car. And also, as far as anything else goes, can't really tell till we dig down to it. I mean, little things like the distributor cap and that kind of stuff is missing, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that could have been chewed off. Who knows? All the spark plug wires are gone. That too could have been chewed off over time. So really just to get dug down to it, get it cleaned out, and just see what's left, I guess. What do you think the odds are that we're going to be able to free this motor up and get it started? Drop down in the comments and let us know what you think. Lydia, what do you think?
I'm going to give it a solid 37%.
37%?
It's almost half.
Now look.
But you also just stuck your fingers in somewhere that, you know, definitely wasn't supposed to be able to stick your fingers in, so.
Detroit steel. You know, I'm going to tell you one thing about these old Fords, which there's a lot of people, I'm kind of on the middle. You know, I like some Chevrolet stuff. I like some Ford stuff. Everybody's got their own preferences. But my dad is a Ford man through and through. And he always told me, he said, son, if you'll keep water in it and you keep oil in it and don't try to tear it up, that thing will run. So it just depends on what Petey did to this beforehand. I've got all the faith in the world that we're going to turn this crust, this rust, this grime, this rat nest into something that's at least going to puff smoke.
Here comes Rosie in her bright red dress, smoking hot. I do confess she's on fire. Rosalie is on fire. Oh, Rosalie is on fire. Drops a coin in the jukebox, throws me a glance. When money comes on,
Now that we got the gallons of debris out of this motor, we can actually see what we're working with. And one of the first things that we noticed was these valve covers. Well, one of them's only halfway there. And the other one has a huge chunk missing out of it. I mean, other than that, it looks great. Now, this is just our superficial first look at what's going on. That doesn't mean that this can't be fixed, but it is going to be one of the first things that we are going to have to address.
As Lydia said, there's 2 gaping holes in the valve covers, which is odd to me because the hood was on it and intact. The only thing that we can come up with is that this huge pack rat nest has been under here for God knows how long. They've probably been urinating, and that acidic, nasty, wet environment just ate away at that steel. Now, what we did find was also the front of the oil pan. There is no front of the oil pan. It is completely rusted off, completely gone. That's another issue we're going to have to address. But we had no idea going through this what we were actually going to have and have to work with. But I will tell you this. If you've been watching us for any amount of time, you know that Lydia and I attack obstacles that most other people wouldn't even attempt to do. I don't know if it's just because we're hard-headed or if we really love a challenge, but this screams the challenge. But one comment that stuck out to me was a fellow by the name of Dean Myers, and he said, "Y'all have my attention. And if y'all can do that car some justice, I'll watch every video that y'all put out on it. But if you fail it, I'm unsubscribed." And you know, for some reason that resonated with me, and something about a challenge. And it's not just the challenges, the passion of wanting others to be able to spend time, see these things before they're all gone and there's none available. So Mr. Dean, I'm going to tell you, I appreciate you for leaving that comment. And not that we didn't have a fire lit under us before, but it's comments like that that just really puts things into perspective, like, hey, you're doing things that other people want to see also, so don't fail them. And we're not.
So as of right now, we've gotten both doors open. We were able to discover that we had a full set of seats, not in the best condition, but we can do something with them for sure. Then whenever we got the hood open, we realized that we have a complete motor and complete transmission. Still not in the best condition, but I think we're going to be able to make it work. Lastly, we got to get this trunk open, y'all. We got to see if Petey's in there or not. No, but seriously, y'all, this is going to be the last thing to get opened. It looks like somebody's tried to get it open before us, but they had no luck. So our next step is to get this trunk open and see what's back there.
I think about maybe this side to start out with.
She lives in a shack by the riverside. That's where we wake up with the morning tide on fire.
Serious question. Have you ever done this before?
Never, not one time.
So you're going to go big or go home?
Yeah, I have no idea really how this whole drilling in there works, but I've heard a bunch of people do it, so it can't really be that complicated.
Yeah, just use your biggest drill bit, right?
That's kind of where I'm going. The bigger the open area, the easier it should be to get out. I don't know, question mark. If all else fails, I'm pretty sure that gas hatchet that we have over there on the trailer will get it washed out of there. It was just as easy as they said it would be.
Well,
holy grail. Look at the, look, we even have the, I know you probably can't tell it, but I am 100% ecstatic. Look, even the fender skirts are in there. Holy crap.
I'm kind of let down.
Why are you let down?
I thought Petey was going to be in there.
He might be under this. You can't never tell. Look, we have some rust holage going on here, but that ain't nothing but sheet metal. Look at this. Never in a million years, never in 10 million years would I have dreamed that these parts would have been in there. Look at that.
Like a little boy in a candy shop, you know that?
Way worse than a little boy. I mean, I am over the moon. Okay, Petey, it's on now. Now look, we know a fair amount about these old classic cars in an overview. I am not an expert in this particular car of these particular years. But so many of you are, and that helps us out, I mean, substantially. For example, you said, hey, 65 is whenever they started putting in these sequential taillights. And what that means is, for the people that don't know, is when you turn the blinker on, it's blink, 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 blink. Kind of like the older Mustangs. You know, it's got that vibe to it. And it's really cool, really stylish. And we've learned so much already from just what y'all taught us. One of the bummers, though, I have to be honest, the whole time I walked around this car, in an overall type thing, there's a lot of stuff missing. But one of the things I was really bummed about is the trim piece that goes around this taillight was missing from this side. And you know, with a little bit of lipstick on anything, it just helps the appearance so much. And whenever we was crawling under here, I seen pieces of what I thought was the trunk laying on the ground until we opened the trunk and looked. And y'all look at this. Buried deep inside, the pack rat's lair, and roots, and rubble, and sticks. Look at what we found. Look at that. With, without. I mean, really, it's dirty, it's crusty and rusty, but can you appreciate that? Just look at the difference. I don't even know if that's on there right or not, but still, I mean, it's like daylight and dark. It's the devil is in the details. These are parts and pieces to the grill, and that is heavy. That is not like some Amazon plastic shipped to your door for free 99 in 2 days. I mean, that's got some weight to it. And we have more trim. We're gonna have to go all like archaeological on this, but this is the other door panel. I don't want to just grab it and rip it. I don't really know how much is left there that might even be any good, but I just want to be super careful with it that we don't tear it. If there is parts and pieces, if nothing else, we can use of it. At least we got the upper hard part and the trim. We can always get some repop vinyl to cover that with if we can get it all put back together. But all the parts are there. Well, this is pretty cool. This was a factory air car, and this is the air conditioning compressor. Of course, you know, you can look at it and tell it hadn't worked since Moby Dick was a minnow.
Now, I do recognize that from whenever we changed that one out in the truck. Except, actually, the one that we took out looked pretty rough, too.
Yeah, I can see why they threw it back here. Could have been that Petey was just confused. Uh-oh. Looks like the original tire tool. And no, we're not testing this for DNA. Uh-oh. I wonder what shape the trunk's in. Well, here's a spare carburetor. Fresh off the shelf, it's Holly 4-banger. That makes 2 that we have.
I'm gonna take a wild one and say 2 that don't work.
Gee shit, they don't work right now. You know, the more I dig through this old car, it's seeming less like somebody abandoned it and more like somebody really wanted to preserve this car. The amount of trim pieces and the amount of things that was saved on this car tells me the story that they hope to someday get this back on the road. Got to be careful not to cut any of these wires. Afraid I might cut the wrong thing, cut a wire, and then one of the blinkers wouldn't work or something, you know?
You definitely don't want that to happen.
No, we got to get this thing inspected next week. Or maybe the week after that.
Next on my agenda, I'm going to start cleaning out the inside of this car.
When the sky is falling down and the clouds get in your eye, I'll be a gold mine. When your world ain't going right and the struggle dims your shine, I'll be a gold mine. Back to back, I got you and you got me. Dream team, stick together and make history.
Y'all, this rain every time we get started. I will be so glad when we get our shop finished so we don't have to be getting soaking wet whenever we're working on something. It kind of goes either way. We're kind of so hot and getting blistered from the sun, or we're getting wet, one of the two. But, you know, it's still got to be getting done. Hey, how's the weather out there? That is such a spoiled dog. Gus does not like the thunder.
Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. I got my eyes on you, and you got no clue what I'm supposed to do. I can't help myself. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete. tank was not yours. If you know